Hey everybody, Justin the Diabetic, and this week we are going to talk about my 1 week with the Omnipod 5 system and how that has really started to change my life. So stay tuned and we'll dive right into this week's video. Alright everybody, so I've got my laptop sitting here beside my camera. There's several bits of information I'm going to reference for you guys so that way you can kind of see all the facts. So today is July 24th. At the time I'm recording this video, you guys should be seeing it on July 29th later on this week. So I've been on the Omnipod 5 since noon on July 13th. So we've had about a week and a half with the pump, and a couple more days will be at the 2-week mark. So I want to give you guys an overview of what those first, we're going to say Wednesday through Sunday was like, and then from last Sunday to this Sunday, a full week, kind of see how that data has been changed. Omnipod and the Dexcom both sync to Gluco. So the PDM has a cellular connection through AT&T, and it's constantly uploading my data to the Gluco application. The PDM is also connected to my home and work Wi-Fi networks, so that way it's only relying on the cellular data when I'm in transit between the two locations or out and about around town. So you also can get your information for the Dexcom through the Clarity app or Clarity webpage. It's Dexcom Clarity. It'll just give you your CGM information, but Gluco, that's spelled Glooko, is going to give you your CGM information as well as your pump information. And I do have my Gluco app on my iPhone, which also is getting data from Apple Health. So I do have my exercise and step information on here as well. So that's a benefit. So let's go and look at week 1. I'm going to use the Dexcom Clarity app because it allows me to do specific dates. So we're going to say the 14th of July through the 17th. And we're going to gather that information. So my average blood glucose on those first few days was 157. That's within range 74% of the time, with 22% high and 4% very high. That's the first few days on my pump. I wasn't really doing any dieting or anything like that. I was just kind of doing my normal thing. I think I went through a few pods, 2 or 3, over that 4-day period, just trying to let the pump get acclimated to my normal self. But then we fast forward to the 17th through the 24th of July, and we've noticed a significant improvement. I've been focusing on my keto meals. I do have factored keto meals at home, and I try to eat those as well as some other keto related items. And then sometimes we go out to eat. I just do low carb and kind of have cheat days. So over the past week, the report goes from Sunday to Sunday. It's classifying that as 8 days. I've been 90% time in range with 9% high and 1% very high. My average blood glucose is 139. So that's a significant improvement. I've been wearing the CGM continuously throughout that time. As you can see, my Dexcom is, it's on my arm. It's on my back, lower back, and then I do have the Omnipod on my outer thigh. So I've enjoyed the Omnipod so far. It's been a little bit of an adjustment carrying around the PDM. I don't carry it around with me all the time. So most of the time, if I'm doing stuff around the house, it stays in my kitchen at home, and then at night goes to the nightstand and charges next to my cell phone. Then while I'm at work, it will either stay in my bag or it will stay on my desk. Unless I'm leaving work to go eat, then I'll take my my Omnipod PDM with me, and I have that with me to bolus. Other than that, it fits in my pocket. Honestly, I feel like it's less of a burden in my pocket than my Medtronic pump was. The phone itself is a little taller, but the Medtronic pump was thicker and a little bit more bulky. So it kind of, everybody has their own preference, and it's everybody's own thing. So last week I realized that the app wasn't very easy to see with the phone, so I'm gonna kind of show it for you guys. So here you guys can see, this is the home page. You can see my glucose is 119 and going down, my last bolus, and then view my graph information. So if we click the graph, it flips it over for you guys to see that. So I have been a little cheating today on my diet, so that's okay. So back up here for you guys to see, if you click the middle, that will take you to your insulin. So it shows you that I'm in automated mode. And then finally over here to the end is pod information. Come on, click it. Pod info. So I have 27 units left in my pod, which will most likely make it till tomorrow morning. And then it also is scheduled to expire at 8:30 p.m. tomorrow night. So it will expire a little early, but that's totally fine. So moving on over here to the little menu button, if you push that in the top left, you can see this information here. So at the top, you can switch modes. That goes between auto and manual mode. You can manually enter in a blood glucose reading. You can see your pod status, which we just looked at, or you can go into activity mode. Activity mode is going to set your target blood glucose at 150. If you were going to do any type of exercise or something that would typically drop your blood sugar, I would suggest going into activity mode about 30 minutes before. You might need to do a little longer. Just give your blood sugar time to rise just a little. That way you don't have to worry. If it does start to drop, you can see it in time. Like I said last week, I have my target blood glucose during the day at 110, and at night, I believe it's from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., it's set at 120, with corrections to be done anytime my blood sugar is higher than that set target amount. Most of the time at night, my blood sugar stay relatively steady and in range. Sometimes I do sleep on my pod and my Dexcom, and I think that might hinder the communication some, and my blood sugar will rise up, and then I always typically kind of just check and see what it is if I wake up in the middle of the night. And so if it is about 170 or something, I will do a correction. If we scroll down in the menu a little bit, you can see that manage programs and presets is all grayed out because we are in automated mode. If you needed to change any of that information, you would have to go over to manual mode, and then you can change those. But automated mode just uses that as a reference. So then we have the history detail, which I like. I check this quite often, so you can see today how my blood sugars have been. My average has been 159. I've had a total insulin intake of 70 units, and I've been within range 75% of the time, with 25% of that being high and 0% of that being extremely high. So I think that's relatively well, and I've done 85 grams of carbs. You can slide over to auto events and see that information that the pump has been giving you. All of mine are 0 because it noticed that my blood sugar was dropping and didn't want to give me any more insulin. So I think that is very smart of the pump, but you also can view that information there. You can also see your notifications and then click settings. If you click settings, it gives you some basic stuff. That's where you can change your brightness, your passcode, the display message that shows on the PDM. So like mine says Justin's Omnipod. If found, please call, and it has my cell phone number. The one thing that I do want to gripe just a little bit, Omnipod, let's listen. I understand these need a passcode, but you can't tap on the screen and wake this device up. You have to hit the lock button, which I feel like doesn't give great feedback. And sometimes if I go to lock it, I just hold it just a little too long and it will do the power off restart. And you have to hit the button again to actually get it to lock. Just a small complaint, nothing too major. I'm not getting hardly any alarms on the PDM. The only alarms that I've been getting are my less than 25 units of insulin alarms in the pod and on the PDM. They kind of go off a few seconds from each other. And then the other alarm that I got was the pod actually expired, because I've had a few pods that have made it all the way to the expiration date with less than 20 units of insulin in them. So a little background information on me. So I was on the Medtronic 770G prior. If you've been following along the channel, you're well aware that I had several issues with the pump in automated mode. So if the pump couldn't do what I wanted to and the lifestyle that I wanted, then I made the switch. So I did go with the Omnipod and the Dexcom, which just so happens to be cheaper for me financially, since I'm getting both devices through the pharmacy and I have a very low copay for each each device for its month supply. So that is significantly less than I was paying for my Medtronic pump with my previous insurance. So that's been an adjustment for me that has kind of been beneficial. On average, when I'm at work, I average between 4,500 and 8,000 steps. This week, I am going to quit cheating on my diet, do keto full time. I am fasting through most of the day, anywhere from an 18 to a 24-hour fast, and then I eat my dinner, and then I start my fasting again. So this week I am going to try to do over 10,000 steps a day with my activity, do my fasting towards my dinner meal, eat my dinner meal, and then move on. So that's kind of what my goal is for the day. That's going to be a thorough test of the Omnipod system and how it functions with my blood sugar. I am hoping to have 100% time in range for the entire week. So next week when I sit down and make this video for you guys for week 2, I really hope that I can share that data with you guys and you will see that. That's kind of my personal experience. I have been working very diligently over the past year at losing weight and cutting back on my total insulin usage. So for those of you who have not been following along, I averaged about 200 units of insulin a day, and this time last year weighed 310 pounds. Now I can safely say that I'm in the 268 range as I've weighed last week, and I am working to continue to lower that number. So that's a good 40 pounds down, and we're still going. My waist size has went from a 40 in men's down to a 36. I just ordered some 36 pants for work, and I fit in them, and I have room to slide fingers in the waistband. So I'm very ecstatic about that overall process. You guys can check out some of my earlier videos and see that the weight has been removed from areas like my face, and you might can notice it in other spots, but I'm not going to dive into all that for you. So the Omnipod 5 is doing everything that I wanted. As I said in last week's video, it's very freeing. I kind of feel like a normal person. I let the system do what it wants to do as far as automated mode, and as long as I don't mess up my carb counting at a meal, the system does very well. Honestly, I don't even notice the device is on me. Just a second ago, I thought my Dexcom was on my arm, and it's been on my back for about 10 days. So that's a very beneficial thing. And all the clothing that I'm wearing, the Dexcom's not visible, and then the Omnipod on my leg is hidden within my pants. It's very discreet. You kind of feel like a normal person. You don't have that tubing hanging out of your pocket or something constantly visible. So it definitely feels free. I did leave my home earlier without the PDM just to go run a quick errand to the store and pick up a few things, and got those, and I didn't have any issues. So that's kind of a plus. Omnipod, if you're watching this video, I am very impressed with your product. I cannot wait for the iPhone app to be out, or even the app on some newer Samsung devices. I might consider the Switch. It's kind of hard, but we'll wait and see how that process goes. My PDM did get an update this week. I thought that was very interesting. It had a few little glitches in it after the update, but I think that those have been resolved. So it gave me a notification that there was a software update available, and would I like to proceed, and I did yes. It downloaded the software update very quickly and installed. It was less than 5 minutes. It did the update. Now the glitches that I was speaking of is when you went to unlock it, it would do like a loading menu and wouldn't directly get to the app. So it would take about 20 or 30 seconds to fully load and launch the app. So it was a little weird, but it only did that about 2 or 3 times, and it seems to have resolved the issue now. So I do like that Omnipod is pushing out over-the-air updates to the app. Hopefully in the future they'll get a cloud-based service, maybe Gluco or something, that can hold the information that our pods are collecting. So that way if the PDM gets destroyed and we get a new PDM, or the iPhone app is released, we don't lose all of that data. It can easily be transferred over to a new device, and then we can move on. Because I do think that these pods are learning quite a bit of information about me and the other users that are currently using it. So I do hope that they do resolve something for that in the future. I'm very excited. These videos are doing really well. They're doing a lot better than my last few Medtronic videos, so you guys continue to share these. Maybe you'll reach other Omnipod users or people who are having difficulty with their diabetes management and are considering the Omnipod. So please like these videos, share, and comment if you have any questions, and I will do my best to respond to you guys in a quickly manner. Until next time, I'll see you guys next week, and you have a wonderful week and weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye.